Going live, going live, going live. What's going on, YouTube? It's Unger to the Max here. A salute to you. And this is a first live stream I've done in a while. I don't know why I put off doing live streams. But anyway, so the title of this video is, hang on, I already forgot. Hold on one sec. Oh yeah, the title of this video is, I know it's May 1st, 2019, but I want to go back to 2016 and other various sports topics. Now, the reason is because, again, I understand that it's 2019, but there's a few topics that occurred in 2016 that I want to discuss. So just bear with me. And I will discuss other various topics, because there are some interesting ones to talk about. So, starting with the 2016 stuff. So, first thing. Did Stephen Curry deserve to win unanimous MVP? No. Did he deserve to win MVP, though? Yes. The reason I think he won unanimous MVP is because people were like, oh my God, I've never seen shooting like this in my life. Oh my God, what the hell? So people were just enamored with his shooting and like the distance from which he was making the shots at, that they're like, we all gotta vote for him for MVP. Here's my MVP card. Here's my voting card. Stephen Curry, guard, number 30, Golden State Warriors. All this and that. But do I think he deserved... So, again, do I think Curry deserved to win unanimous... Or do I think Curry deserved to win MVP? Yes. Yes, I do. But unanimous MVP? No. There's a difference. Okay? So, I know the MVP award is a regular season award only, and I kind of wish it included postseason. But overall, besides his shooting, did Stephen Curry really do anything else? I don't believe so. But I want to take you to a specific example, and I'm going to go to the postseason. Again, I understand that the NBA MVP award is a regular season only award. And again, I kind of wish it was postseason, but at the same time, I don't. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. I'm kind of iffy. But anyway, so Game 7, 2016 NBA Finals. Warriors have the lead. I think they're up 1 or something. Hang on. I want to demonstrate this. So, Curry is bringing the ball up, and he backs into the defender like this. All he has to do is make a simple bounce pass or a chest pass to Klay Thompson, who's standing in the corner, and he might be able to get the shot off. But instead, this is what he does. He brings the ball up like this, turns his back like he's going to post up or something, and tries to go behind the back. And the ball went out of bounds. And I don't remember if the Cavaliers did anything with that possession, but still. You can't make that type of pass in that situation, in that high profile of the game. Now, of course, the Cavaliers would go on to come back from a 3-1 deficit and win the NBA championship, first one in franchise history. Of course, Cleveland later got a taste of their own 3-1 medicine as the Indians held a 3-1 series lead in the 2016 World Series, and the Cubs came back and won that series. Go, Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are gonna win today. Yes, my favorite team in baseball is the Chicago Cubs. But my favorite player of all time is Ken Griffey Jr. That's why I have a Mariners shirt on, because it's Ken Griffey Jr. But anyway, speaking of Warriors Cavaliers, these two teams had a great rivalry going between 2015 and 2016. Warriors won the title in 2015, although I don't think they would have if Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love had been healthy. Of course, Kyrie got hurt in game 1 of the series and broke his kneecap, but Kevin Love got hurt in game 4 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals against Boston, thanks to Kelly Olynyk, who now plays for the Miami Heat. But at the time, he was with the Boston Celtics. And Kevin Love went up to grab the rebound, and Olynyk just grabs Kevin Love's shoulder and just yanks it out of his socket. And you just saw Love was holding his shoulder like this, just running to the locker room. He knew what had happened. And he was lost for the rest of the postseason. So LeBron pretty much had to carry the Cavaliers on his own for the rest of the postseason. I mean, yeah, he had Kyrie, but again, Kyrie had suffered injuries earlier in the playoffs and played through them, and he broke his knee in game 1 of the finals. And, Matthew Dellavedova was tapped the Stephen Curry stopper. And then, of course, Curry went off in game 5. But still, it was a great series still. And then in 2016, the Warriors were up 3-1, and Draymond Green, committed the flagrant foul, which is what the NBA later deemed it, causing Draymond Green to get suspended. And Klay Thompson's response was, I guess some people get their feelings hurt. It was something like that, which is in response to LeBron, because the Warriors were saying, it was LeBron caused Draymond to get suspended. And so in game 5 of 2016 NBA Finals, every time LeBron touched the ball, not only in the game, but during warm-ups, he was booed. I don't even think that happened when LeBron returned to Cleveland for the first time with Miami. I don't think that happened. But I think Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors ruined the possibility of a great rivalry forming, because now the Cavaliers just had no way of matching up with the Warriors, and it just ruined things. Now, I will say the Christmas game in 2017 was fantastic, and it was in Cleveland because the Cavaliers won the finals. That's the one benefit of being champion, of winning the championship. You get to host a Christmas game on your home court. Although, I loved it when the NBA, when the teams played on Christmas, they always got special Christmas jerseys. Well, now, because the NBA is no longer with Nike and they're with Adidas, they don't do that. So, in 2017, when the Cavaliers and Warriors played each other on Christmas, it was just the regular home white jerseys for the Warriors and, black jerseys for the Cavaliers. And in 2017, it was a great game. I'm not going to lie. But I think Kevin Durant not only took the easy way out by leaving the Thunder to join the Warriors, but he ruined the possibility of a great rivalry forming. Now, again, it's 2019, so I've moved on a little bit. And I'm sure the Thunder have moved on and the Warriors have moved on and all that. But I still can't forgive him fully for what he did. And I respected the Warriors somewhat. Or I was somewhat of a fan of the Warriors. But when Kevin Durant went from OKC to Golden State, I just couldn't do it. Now, that might seem like a wussy move or a chicken move, and you can say all this various stuff, and I'm fine with that. But I couldn't continue to be a fan. I mean, I'm a diehard Cavaliers fan. So, yeah, through and through. But I just couldn't do it because it just didn't feel right for me that Kevin Durant, whose team was up 3-1 against the Warriors in 2016. Oh, against the Warriors, who set the NBA single season record for the most wins in league history with 73. The Thunder had them on the ropes. Now, was it Kevin Durant's fault? Was it Russell Westbrook's fault? Was it a combination of both? We'll never know. But I mean, even now, Westbrook can't get out of the first round. So maybe it was more of his fault. But anyway, well, first off, the Oklahoma City screwed the city of Seattle. So I'm kind of glad the Warriors came back that season to beat them. It's retribution. Just like when the Thunder made the finals and lost to Miami. That was also retribution from Seattle. And again, I'm a diehard Cavaliers fan, but there needs to be an NBA team in the city of Seattle. This is why when the primary election comes around, if Howard Schultz is on the ballot, my vote will be a thumbs down. No way will I vote for Howard Schultz because of what he did to the city of Seattle and the Supersonics. If that's not a valid reason to you, that's okay. I'm fine with that. So that's enough of the 2016 stuff. Oh, wait, one more thing about the 2016. And not just 2016, but just in general. Like, I enjoy going back and watching old games, whether it's Game 3 of the 2013 NBA Finals when Danny Green and Gary Neal went crazy for the San Antonio Spurs and set some record for the most three-pointers in a NBA Finals game or something. It was something like that. Or maybe a game in March between the Cavaliers and Raptors when the Cavaliers were ravaged with injuries, and yet the Cavaliers and the Raptors had pretty much controlled that game from start to finish, and yet the Cavaliers came back and won. But iTunes, for some reason, is not allowing you to buy those games. Here, let me show you what I mean. Be right back. Here we go. Okay, so I like going and watching Eastern Conference old NBA playoff games, such as Cleveland at Golden, Milwaukee Boston Game 1 2018, or Miami San Antonio Game 3 2013 NBA Finals. Danny Green and Gary Neal combined for 13 3-pointers as the Spurs defeat the Heat. But I want to be able to get other episodes. But when I click get more episodes, here's what happens. It says, item not available. The item you've requested is currently not available in the US store. Oh, here's another example. I also like going back and watching NBA games of the year, such as Oklahoma City at Cleveland, or Cleveland versus Golden State from Christmas on 2015, or Cleveland versus Miami from Christmas the year before when LeBron returned to Miami as an opponent, or Cleveland versus San Antonio when Kyrie hit the buzzer beater to send the game to overtime and they beat the defending NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. So I go to click get more episodes because I want to watch more. And again, it says item not available. The item you've requested is not currently available in the US store. So I'm mad at iTunes about that. I know that's kind of silly because they'll probably put it back at some point, but still, I'm not going to like Canada or some Caribbean country anytime soon, so it's very annoying to me. Like, I want to be able to watch Kobe's last game against the Utah Jazz, or let's see, maybe the 2011 NBA Finals are available. I don't know. You can't even search for any of this stuff. Or like another example is like maybe the 2011 Major League Baseball postseason is available, or when the Cardinals won the wild card game and then we go on to win the World Series. So just I'm a little upset with iTunes. But anyway, on to the present stuff. So first bit of news. Brock Lesnar, the former UFC heavyweight champion, who came into the ring or octagon, ring is boxing or WWE. When you say octagon, it's UFC. Got it? Good. So anyway, after UFC 226, when Daniel Cormier unfortunately knocked out Stipe Miocic, and became both the light heavyweight champion and the heavyweight champion, which Cormier has since relinquished the light heavyweight belt, and John Jones is now the champion, as he defeated Alexander Gustafsson in the rematch of a terrific fight they had, and then he just put on a clinic against Anthony Lionheart Smith. And next, he will defend his belt against Thiago Santos at UFC 239. But anyway, so after Cormier knocked out Miocic, Lesnar came into the octagon and pretty much pushed Cormier and took the microphone and said, Stipe's nothing. I don't want to use the actual word he said. And Cormier's nothing. And it looked like the UFC wanted to do Cormier against Lesnar. Well, that's not going to happen because Brock Lesnar retired from MMA yesterday. So does that mean he's going to come back to the WWE and try and get his Universal Championship back from the winner of the Money in the Bank match between AJ Styles and Seth Rollins? Don't know. Is Lesnar completely done with fighting? Don't know. But what I do know is that because Lesnar retired, the UFC said it is finally going to give Stipe the rematch that he's been asking for, and it's targeting UFC 241. However, I don't know if I'll be able to watch that pay-per-view because what happened was the UFC got a new deal with ESPN, so they now broadcast all their stuff on ESPN. But not ESPN. It's ESPN Plus, which is great if you have it, but I don't. And I don't want to have to pay extra for ESPN. So, there's great pay-per-views coming up that I would love to watch, but I don't have ESPN Plus. So, unfortunately, I can't watch them. And ESPN Plus costs a lot of money, and I'm not sure it's worth it. I mean, yeah, I can go back and watch highlights later in Octagon interviews, but do a free trial. Yeah, I could try that. That's a good point, Kuram. That's a good point, Kuram Mawani. I think I said your last name right. My apologies if I didn't. But, yeah, it's aggravating. And a lot of their regular fights, too, are on ESPN Plus, not ESPN, which I think is a big miss for the UFC. I think they should have put the pay-per-views only on ESPN Plus, but have all the other like UFC fight nights and all that on just regular ESPN. You'd be getting such a bigger viewership. Now, the prelims are on ESPN, but if you want to watch the main card, then you have to get ESPN Plus. Anyway, so next topic. The Blue Jackets are up 2-1. Yeah, I know. They have MLB games too. It's weird. And now YouTube TV said it's going to start broadcasting some MLB games. And you have to pay extra for YouTube TV, which again, I don't want to do. Anyway, so Game 3 was last night at Nationwide Arena between the Boston Bruins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. And thanks to Sergei Bobrovsky, not only did the Blue Jackets win Game 3 2-1, but they now lead the series 2-1, which makes Game 4 a must-win. Now, I've heard people say every game in the playoffs is a must-win, and that's true to a certain extent. I'm not going to lie, but by the same token, some games are bigger than others. Now, to me, Game 3 last night was a must-win for both teams because the series was tied 1-1, and whoever won that game had control of the series. But Game 4 is really a must-win for the Blue Jackets because I don't want to have to go to Boston tied 2-2, and then if the Bruins win Game 5, pretty much be in a do-or-die situation at home in Game 6. I don't want that. Now, think about this. The Hurricanes are up 2-0 against the Islanders. Game 3 of that series is tonight in Raleigh. The Blue Jackets are up 2-1 against the Bruins. Game 4 of that series is tomorrow in Columbus. In the Western Conference, you have St. Louis up 2-1 against Dallas, and San Jose is up 2-1 against Colorado. Now, here's the interesting thing. None of the remaining teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs won their division. All 4 division winners were eliminated in the first round by wildcard teams. The Blue Jackets, of course, swept the Tampa Bay Lightning, who tied the NHL record for most points in a single season with 62 or something like that. And the Lightning won the President's Trophy. President's Trophy is a curse. Just saying. Let's see. The Hurricanes won Game 7 in double overtime against Capitals, who were not only the defending Stanley Cup champions, but they also... What do you mean the NBA needs to be this way, Kuram? What do you mean See, NBA needs to be this way, too. What do you mean by that? But anyway, the Hurricanes eliminated the Washington Capitals, who not only won the won the Metropolitan Division, but were the defending Stanley Cup champions. Then in the West, the Calgary Flames had the best record in the Western Conference, and they were eliminated by the Colorado Avalanche. And then in the Pacific Division, it was I'm sorry. Then in the Central Division, the Nashville Predators won that division, but they were eliminated in 6 games by the Dallas Stars. So the remaining teams either finished in second place in their division or are a wild card team. San Jose finished in second in their division behind Calgary, and they're playing Colorado. Now, Colorado is a Central Division team, but they got into the playoffs as the second wild card, so they got put in on the Pacific side. That's why they're playing the San Jose Sharks. Then on the other side, it is the St. Louis Blues playing the Dallas Stars. Now, the Dallas Stars were the first wild card, so they got put in on the Central Division side, which makes sense because they're from the Central Division. And St. Louis is leading that series 2-1. Now, on the other side, Columbus is up 2-1 against Boston. Boston was the number 2, finished second in the Atlantic Division behind Tampa Bay. And Columbus was the second wild card team, and they're in the Metropolitan Division. But again, because they finished in second as the second wild card, they got put on the Atlantic side. That's why they first played Tampa Bay, and then they're playing Boston. On the other side, it's the Islanders and Hurricanes. Islanders finished second in the division, and they swept the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round, who finished third in the Metropolitan Division. And, of course, the Hurricanes upset the division winners, the Washington Capitals. And the Hurricanes were the first wild card. So they got put on the Metropolitan Division side. And it makes sense because they're in the Metropolitan Division. So we could potentially have a Metropolitan Division against Metropolitan Division Eastern Conference Final if the Blue Jackets and Hurricanes both make it to the Eastern Conference Final. Talk about ratings! Not really. But anyway, I love the Stanley Cup playoffs because none of the division winners are in it now. So all of these teams had to grind their way to where they are. They didn't. I mean, you saw Game 7 between Vegas and San Jose. Now, should that have been a 5-minute penalty? I'm not so sure. But anyway, it is what it is. You can't reverse. You can't time travel. We haven't discovered that technology yet. I'm sorry. But you can't. Anyway, although if I could, I would back and make sure Kelly Olynyk doesn't pop out Kevin Love's shoulder. And I would make sure Kyrie Irving doesn't break his knee. And possibly we have 2 championship banners hanging in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Oh, yeah, in case you didn't know, Quicken Loans Arena is now Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. What the heck is a field house? What is it because we have an arena football team? Although they've been on hiatus for 2 years since the arena is being built or being not built, going under major reconstruction. There we go. And the 2022 NBA All-Star Game is coming to Cleveland. Actually, the 2019 MLB All-Star Game is coming to. As much as I would like to go, I unfortunately cannot. I will be working at a sleepaway summer camp, so that's why. Although I will be going to the Indians game this Saturday when the Indians take on the Seattle Mariners. But I will be rooting for the Indians, not the Mariners. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. Officiating in Game 1. Rockets. First off, instead of complaining about the officials, James Harden, how about you go out and make your shots? I mean, on the one play, that was not a foul. The officials called it correctly. All right. Hold on 1 second. There we go. One more. Hold on 1 sec. There we go. I think it's connected. But, yeah, so on the one play, Harden kicked his feet out, and he's expecting to get the call. You're not going to go in that type of situation, so stop complaining. But also, go out and make your shots. I mean, honestly, I mean, my apologies about that. Somebody was moving chairs or something upstairs, so I wanted to put on my headphones, but I think it's done now. We're in final exams week here at Notre Dame College, so we're winding down the year. But anyway, Houston only lost by 4 in game 1, and they lost again last night. I think it was like 115, 109 or something. But Houston, I know this is difficult for them, and if you're a Rockets fan, maybe you agree with this. The Rockets need to change how they play, because the way they're doing it right now doesn't work against the Golden State Warriors. They're pretty much saying, James Harden, go do your thing, and we'll just stand here and wait for you to pass it. That's not going to get it done against the Warriors. You need to. Rockets are settling for 3-pointers, which is the wrong way to do it. They need to go drive the ball to the basket and attack the rim. Yeah, the Rockets, I agree. I told my cousins that Rockets need to change their play. Yeah, because they're relying too much on James Harden playing isolation basketball, and it's not working. I mean, Kevin Durant is swallowing him up. At least with the last series, like, the Clippers had options. I know Harden playing isolation won't get it done. Absolutely. When the Clippers went to their bench and the Warriors went to their bench, the Clippers had Lou Williams, who was just unguardable at times. But the Clippers had other options. They didn't just have Lou Williams. They had Montrezl Harrell. Patrick Beverly played well a couple games. Gallinari played somewhat well. But for some reason, the Rockets just aren't doing that. They don't have the type of bench to come in and support them for some reason. I don't know why, but they don't. And Clint Capella, who called out the Warriors, I haven't really seen him show up. So don't call out the Warriors if you're not going to show up yourself. But again, the Rockets are relying too much on Harden playing isolation basketball. They need to stop shooting so many 3-pointers. Now, I don't think they're willing to change themselves, but that's what they need to do. Now, Paul Pierce said that after game 1, I know it's not an excuse, but after game 1 of the Celtics-Bucks series, Paul Pierce, the former Boston Celtic, and my favorite Boston Celtic of all time, that's why I was so upset when Isaiah Thomas was with the Cavaliers, the Celtics were going to retire Paul Pierce's jersey and do a tribute video for Isaiah Thomas on the same night. And I was furious about it. You can't do that. Isaiah Thomas and Paul Pierce are not on the same level. After game 1, my cousin's blaming the ref, and then what happened in game 2? Exactly. I mean, after game 1, there was controversy about the referees, but there's no controversy after game 2. But anyway, so after game 1 of the Celtics-Bucks, when the Celtics just dominated the Bucks, Paul Pierce, again, the former Boston Celtic, said that the series was over. I think he used the right word, but the wrong series. Celtics-Bucks is not over. I think Milwaukee can take one of the 2 games in Boston. And yeah, I think that series is going the full 7 games. But Rockets-Warriors, that series is OVER. Over. The Rockets' best chance to win this series was game 1 because Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry both had bum ankles and the Rockets couldn't take advantage. It's that simple. So Rockets who were complaining that, the system is rigged, we should have won it last year. I mean, they probably should have won Western Conference, the series last year against the Warriors. But it didn't. And I'm not going to put that all on Chris Paul's injury. I'm also going to put the blame on James Harden because, again, he's great in the regular season, but when it comes to the pressure of the NBA of the postseason, he's like this. I don't know what to do, and he just falls apart. He goes MIA sometimes. Like, look at the one playoff game he had against the Spurs. I don't remember what year it was, but you couldn't find him, and he couldn't make a shot, and the Spurs would go on to win that game. The Warriors are going to be in the finals again because even if the Nuggets win the conference semifinals against Portland, they might only be able to push the Warriors to 6 games at most. If that possible series goes to full 7 games, I'd be surprised. Honestly, I would. But I think the best series I've seen so far has to be Philadelphia, Toronto, and I want Toronto to win that series. I think that if Toronto gets to the NBA final, 2017 against the Spurs in Game 6, Harden choked. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was in Houston too, and Harden just choked, couldn't find him. But if Toronto gets to the finals against the Warriors, they could beat them. I also think the Celtics could beat the Warriors because Irving matches up well with Curry. We already know that. But the one area where Kawhi or Tony Parker, that's right. And San Antonio still won that game. Thanks. Wow. There's 5 primary starting quarterbacks on new teams in 2019. That's interesting. And 10 primary starting quarterbacks will be 2020 free agents this season. That's interesting to me. And one of those is Phillip Rivers. Hopefully the Chargers re-sign him. But they did draft Easton Stick, quarterback from North Dakota State. But I think Boston or Toronto could possibly push the Warriors in the finals and maybe even beat them. But the one area that hurts Boston is that they don't have Marcus Smart. I'm a Thunder fan, so I have something else to deal with. You mean Russell Westbrook and Paul George? What else do you have to deal with? I mean, I'm glad Oklahoma City has a team, but I hate that it came at the expense of Seattle losing a team. I'm just saying. I hate that Seattle. I love that Oklahoma City has a team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diss the Thunder. The Thunder have been great, and that fan base has been fantastic. I can't wait to go to a Thunder game. I still have to because I'm trying to see a game at every NBA team's arena. I still need to go to a Trailblazers game, Nuggets game, Jazz game, Thunder game, Pelicans game, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Celtics, Hawks, Hornets. I think that's all. But anyway, again, I love that Oklahoma City has a team. Don't get me wrong. But I hate that it came at the expense of Seattle losing the Supersonics. As an NBA fan, when I made my goal to see a game at every NBA team's arena, I wanted to go to Seattle and see the Supersonics. And now I can't do that. So, again, I'm not dissing Oklahoma City, but I wish I love that Oklahoma City has a team, but I don't like that it came at the expense of the Supersonics. Does that make sense? Yeah, so again, I love that OKC has a team, and that fan base is fantastic, and I'm really excited to go to see the Thunder and hear that fan base, but I hate that it came at the expense of Seattle. If the NBA just decided to do an expansion and bring OKC into the NBA that way, I would have been fine with that. I would have been like, that's cool. That's great. Go ahead and expand. But I don't like the way they did it. I kind of wish the Sacramento Kings had gotten moved out of Sacramento and gotten moved to Seattle, but at the same time, Kings fans came out and said, no, we will not let our team move. And the NBA saw that and didn't allow the Kings to move. And Seattle fans, I think, did the same thing. But the NBA said, oh, well, we hear you, Seattle fans, but we're going to allow, Howard Schultz to sell the team to a group from Oklahoma City and move the team to Oklahoma City anyway. Thunder had the second highest TV rating this season. Again, I'm not trying to diss on Oklahoma City. Kuram, I'm not. Trust me, I think the Thunder are a great franchise, and I wish them nothing but success. Although I didn't want them to beat the Pacers the night I was in Indiana to see the Pacers. And thankfully, because of Wesley Matthews, they didn't. But I wish the Thunder all the best. I really do. But I hate that the reason they're around in the NBA is because Seattle lost the team. That's all I'm saying. But back to, do I want to go back to Stanley Cup? No, I don't. Actually, yes, I do. So, as a Blue Jackets fan, I have to say, we were bailed out last night. I mean, in the first period alone, there were shots that Boston was taking that, got past Bobrovsky and just went ding right off the crossbar or one of the sides of the net. Like, after the first period, it should have been like 3-0 Boston. So, our defense has to play a little bit better in front of Bobrovsky. I love that Tortorella is letting Jones and Werenski go up and try and score goals, but we need to try and protect Sergei a little bit better. I'm not sure how, but I just think that needs to happen. The one thing I also liked is Boston likes to be a physical team. We know that. We've seen how they play. Like, they did it in round 1 against Toronto. Who knows if the Maple Leafs will ever get over the hump. But, let's see. Is there any way to pull up, like, stats or something? No, the NHL. I think the Blue Jackets had more hits. Hang on, let me go on NHL.com and see. Speaking of the NHL, I love that the city of Seattle is getting an NHL team at least in 2021. Maybe the NBA will see, maybe we should give Seattle an NBA team again. Just saying. But I don't want to look that far ahead. But hopefully, Seattle fans show up and, yeah. Okay, so team stats. Shots on goal, Boston only outshot Columbus by 3, so I'm fine with that. 37-34. But we had 53 hits while Boston only had 28. And that's just good because Boston is usually the more big physical team. And we're sort of turning it on them. But here's what I don't like. Well, first off, the main commentator on NBCSN thought that at the top of the game, the fans were chanting defense. I was sitting right here in my dorm room at Notre Dame College watching the game on that TV, and I could clearly hear the fans chanting, CBJ, CBJ. What is Doc Emmerich, like, deaf or something? Now, later on, he corrected himself and realized his mistake, but still. And another thing, nobody is giving the Blue Jackets credit. They're all saying in the first round it was all, oh, what's wrong with Tampa Bay or this series, or what's wrong with Tampa Bay's top line? Like, why isn't Steven Stamkos doing anything? And why isn't Nikita Kucherov doing anything? And why isn't Victor Hedman doing anything? Or Alex Killorn or any of those guys? And then with this series, it's, what's wrong with the Bruins top line? Where's Zdeno Chara? Where's Brad Marchand, who might get suspended for his hit in Game 3? But I don't think he will get fined. I think he'll just get, suspended. I think he'll just get fined. But anyway, analysts are like, where's Patrice Bergeron? Where's Brad Marchand? Where's Jake DeBrusk? Or all these various guys. Or what's wrong with the Bruins top line? Nobody's giving the Columbus Blue Jackets the credit. And I don't know why. What? And think if the Stanley Cup final is like, I don't know, San Jose and Columbus. Do you think the NHL is going to be happy about that? No. So I'm sure in 2017 when the Penguins won Game 7 against Ottawa and advanced to the Stanley Cup final, they were happy about that because they got Pittsburgh, against Nashville, who did a great job hosting the NFL draft, by the way. But anyway, so it wasn't like this small nothing, these small market teams in the Cup final. So, but I don't know what Stanley Cup final the NHL wants. Like, if the Islanders and the Sharks get eliminated, you got, let's see, the city of Denver, Raleigh. If Columbus eliminates Boston, then you got Boston or Columbus against Raleigh, and you have St. Louis or Dallas against San Jose or Denver. NHL's probably not thrilled. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, punch that like button like a UFC fighter and punch that red button that begins with an S. I don't think I can say that word on YouTube now. I've heard reports that I can't. So I'm just going to say, punch that red button that starts with the letter S. It's a capital S. You know what the word is. Until next time, this is Unger to the Max signing off by saying, go Blue Jackets, beat the Bruins in Game 4, and anything else? Oh yeah, go Indians, beat the Mariners on Saturday. Yeah. Oh, and go Monsters, beat the Marlies. Oh, one quick thing before I go. So, the Monsters made it to the Calder Cup playoffs this season, and they played the Syracuse Crunch. Here's what's funny. The Monsters are the AHL affiliate of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Syracuse Crunch are the AHL affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, unlike in the NHL where the Blue Jackets swept the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Monsters had to go 4 games. So it was 3-1. In the first round of the Calder Cup playoffs, it's a 5-game series. Now, I don't know if I want to go to another Monsters game this season because every Monsters game I've been to, they've lost. The first game was against Binghamton, AHL affiliate of the New Jersey Devils, and the Devils came back in like the final minute to beat the Monsters. I think it was 3-2. Then against Charlotte, AHL affiliate of the Carolina Hurricanes, the Charlotte Checkers, The Monsters were fighting for their playoff lives. Game went into overtime, and Charlotte won. And then I went to Game 3 against Syracuse when the Monsters were looking for the sweep, and Syracuse came out with the win 2-1. So I think I'm a curse for the Monsters. But again, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, punch that like button like a UFC fighter and punch that subscribe button. Punch that red button with the capital S. That's what I meant. And go Blue Jackets. Beat the Bruins. Let's go win the Stanley Cup.